Hi, everybody. I'm Howard, and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. We added 142,000 jobs to the U.S. economy in August. Yay! The reason I want to talk about this is not just the numbers you hear on TV anyway. It's the biggest economic myths are built around this report. The number, and this has been going on for years. I just decided to bring it up now, even though it's not strictly a retirement issue, but it is an economics issue that affects retirees. The misunderstanding about what the jobs report is, what it represents, how it's done, what it means is so big, it's staggering to me. For every month for the last 20 plus years, I read on Yahoo Finance comments about these articles, and it signifies to me, plus my discussions with people, that maybe 1% of the population really understands this number, and maybe a 0.5% of the population understands the methodology. And I'm not claiming, again, that I'm an expert, but I do have some insight into the methodology and the numbers, and I've studied it a lot, and I've reviewed it a lot, and I think I can bust some of those myths, and that's kind of what I want to do today. Just some, understand this report is 20 plus pages. It's got a ton of statistical information. I just want to pare it down to a few numbers, what they mean, and why so many people are wrong about what they think it means. So, the headline numbers, what you'll see on CNBC or NBC, ABC, your local news or your national news, is we added 142,000 jobs, and unemployment rate fell from 4.3 to 4.2%. So, on the face of it, okay, we had a job. It's not a huge number, but it's a decent number. So, what's behind that number? There were big gains in construction and healthcare, and that's good. Those are typically well-paying jobs. It shows, construction sort of shows the temperature of the economy and, builds into GDP real well. So the number of employed people now, 161,443,000. Here's what's behind that number, though. What they don't tell you, but it's in the report if you read the report. No one's hiding this from you. It's in the report. And, typically the kind of comments I'll get, if they're from the opposing party, the party not in power, is, oh, they're all part-time jobs, there are no benefits, they're low pay, nobody, everyone's working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and it doesn't matter, during Trump years, the Democrats said this, during Biden years, the Republicans said, it's been like that, for every presidential administration that I can remember. They'll criticize it based upon a total lack of information, but just political bias. So, what you hear most recently, all the time is, they're all part-time jobs. And most of the time that's not true. But recently, that's become more true than not. So in this report, and I want to make something clear, they do, BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, does 2 surveys. They send questionnaires to households, and they do questionnaires with businesses. The business survey is considered to be far more accurate than the household survey, but they get more information from the household survey. So their report is kind of a mixture of both. All right, and some of the numbers are very different, but let's not get too deep into the weeds here. So during August, part-time jobs increased by 789,000. So yes, if we had added 142,000, we lost a lot of full-time jobs and added a lot of part-time jobs. So, they break part-time jobs into 2 categories: for economic reasons, meaning that's the only job they can get, their employer cut back hours, a reason they're working part-time that they didn't want to work part-time. That increased by 264,000. So, we had 525,000 job increase in part-time for people who wanted to work part-time for whatever reason. The unemployment rate is 4.2%. Well, what does that mean? That means of the number of people in the labor force looking for jobs, 4.2% of them couldn't find jobs. And here's the biggest myth, is that the unemployment rate counts people collecting unemployment insurance. Not true. Unemployment insurance or unemployment benefits have nothing to do with the employment statistics or the unemployment statistics. The way you're counted as unemployed is if you want a job, you don't have a job, and you've looked for a job within the last 4 weeks. That's it. I haven't worked in 2+ years because I retired, so I'm not considered unemployed because I'm not looking for work. If tomorrow I go look for work and I don't find it, I'm considered unemployed. All right, so sometimes you'll see the unemployment number drop or rise, and and it doesn't sync with the jobs number, and it's because of the change in the labor force statistic change. And again, I don't want to get deep in the woods, but understand what unemployed means. And there's 6 unemployed numbers. The one they focus on is called U3. The U3 number is 4.2%. You can go, I'm not going to go through the others. They have different categories for different types of people, and what their statuses are. But at the face of it, it means you don't have a job, you look for work in the last 4 weeks. That's it. Go in the notes and tell me about this, and I'm sure I'll get that, and that's cool because this is the way we discuss it and straighten it out. The average weekly hours went to 34.3, and that's been pretty steady over the last few years. So even though you see a gain in part-time jobs, the hours within full-time jobs are enough to offset that to an extent. So, over the years, that's been a pretty steady number. And here's the other one. And Donald Trump made a statement about this. He was kind of on target, but his numbers were off. A large number of the job gains are going to foreign-born workers. Now, that does not mean people here illegally. It means people here legally authorized to work and work. So over the last year, foreign-born workers have gained 1.2 million jobs, while native-born workers have lost 1.3 million jobs. Now, it sounds like a net loss in jobs, and don't worry about that because, again, there's a difference where these numbers come from, household versus establishment survey. But the point is that, yes, it is true that native-born workers are losing jobs and foreign-born workers are gaining jobs. Now, I don't know that that's a bad thing. If there's people here who are going to work, does it matter whether they were born here or not, or they became naturalized citizens, or they're here on work visas? I don't care. Tell me if you care and tell me why it matters. We'd like everyone who wants to have a job to have a job. That will never happen, but tell me why that's bad, or President Trump presents it as something that's bad. Why is it bad? I don't understand why it's bad. It's true. I just don't understand why it would be bad. And then there's multiple job holders. Well, everyone's working 2 or 3 or 4 jobs because it's the only way they can survive. And you know what? Some people, that's the case. Some people who, aren't qualified for full-time work or certain jobs, and they can't make enough money, they have to go out and find maybe 2 part-time jobs, maybe 3 part-time jobs. So multiple job holders a year ago was 5.1% of total job holders. Now it's 5.3%. So it's ticked up. It's not a huge number. It's about 8 million people. It's true. But it's not a huge driver of the jobs. So the labor force increased by 709,000 in the last 12 months, or 59,000 a month. And what that means is people actively looking for work. And what you want your economy to do is absorb those people. So what this says is we need to add 59,000 jobs a month to absorb those people and have a healthy economy. So we added 142,000. And again, these numbers will be revised, and I don't want to get into that 800,000 job revision because that's a whole different set of myths. Maybe we'll cover that next time, or you'll want to talk about it in the comments, we'll talk about it in the comments. Generally, over the last few years, economists will tell you need about 90 to 120,000 new jobs a month to absorb new entrants in the labor force. And it's not population growth, it's labor force growth. Because, you know, new babies don't need jobs, but as they grow and they become 16, okay, they might enter the labor force, or they may go to college and they might not enter the labor force, you know. So absorb the labor force growth. The other thing is there's people who are not in the labor force because they get discouraged. So, you know, that 59,000 a month on the face of it is not a great number to look at, because there may be another 59,000 who want to work but just gave up looking for work. So I hope what you're getting from me here is this is very nuanced, it's very complicated, there's a lot of variables, but let's try to understand what these numbers mean, and let's not get politically motivated. You know, presidents claim far too much credit for when the report is good, and they get blamed far too much when the report is bad, because they don't influence it that much. You know, it's like oil prices, they just don't influence it that much. So give me your comments. You know, we can talk about this more in another video. You know, I could spend 10 videos covering all these interesting little statistics that are in the BLS report. But, you know, you'd get bored and turn off by now. So if you're still with me, thank you for watching. Again, give me your comments about what you think about all this, and, you know, tell me if you want to talk more about this or other nuances that, you know, I didn't cover today. So thanks again. We'll see you later. Bye.